All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a really cool ancient story that has this timeless lesson about making the right choice. We're talking about finding a path that's, well, basically guaranteed to lead you to a good place.
So let's just start with this question, because I think it's something we can all relate to. Have you ever trusted someone maybe a little too easily, and then, you ended up regretting it? Our story today kicks off with exactly that, a major crisis of faith where trust got put in the absolute wrong place.
So our story starts in this city called Savatthi. And picture this, you've got 500 followers of the Buddha. They were all in, totally joyful about his teachings. But then, while he was away, something happened. Their faith started to shake, and they kind of slid back into their old, not-so-solid beliefs.
So when the Buddha gets back, he hears the news. His disciples basically traded in the best refuge for, well, a much lesser one. Their conviction was totally shaken. And when he asked them, hey, is this true? They admitted it. So seeing this, the Buddha decides to tell them a story from one of his past lives. A story that perfectly shows the danger of putting your trust in the wrong place. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, so the Buddha starts his tale. He takes them back to a time when he was a super wise caravan merchant in Benares. He was known as the Bodhisattva back then. Now he's getting ready for a big trip. And guess what? So is another merchant. Except this guy, well, he meant well, but let's just say he was a bit foolish.
And this wasn't just any trip. They were both planning to lead these huge caravans. We're talking 500 carts each across this dangerous waterless desert that was supposedly crawling with demons. Now, they were smart enough to know that 1,000 carts traveling together, that's a logistical nightmare. Not enough water, not enough grass for the oxen, no way. So they agreed one of them had to go first. And the wise merchant, being wise, let the other guy choose.
And this is where you can really see the difference in how these two guys think. The foolish leader, he's all about going first. Why? Well, he's thinking, untouched roads, fresh grass, clean water, I get to set the prices. It sounds good on the surface, right? But the wise leader, he thinks, nah, I'll go second. He sees the real advantages. The roads will be smoothed out by the first caravan, the oxen will eat the tasty new grass that grows back, we can use the wells they already dug. See the difference? It's all about short-term gains versus long-term strategy. So, just like you'd expect, the foolish merchant, totally hyped about his head start, sets off first. His caravan is loaded for bear. Carts are packed with these huge pots of water, because, he's prepared for that long, dry journey.
And then, deep in the absolute driest part of the desert, a demon, a yucca, shows up. And this guy is clever. He doesn't look like a demon. He and his crew are disguised as travelers coming from the other direction, and they really sell it. I mean, their clothes are wet, their hair is dripping, their cart wheels are covered in mud, they're even carrying fresh water lilies, the whole shebang.
So this demon, in his clever disguise, comes up to the merchant and says this. Basically, hey, why are you lugging all that heavy water around? There's a forest just up ahead, it's raining, the lakes are full. Ditch your water, travel light. It was, of course, a total lie. A brilliant, terrifying lie. The plan was simple. Get them to dump their water, wait for them to get weak and thirsty, and then it's dinner time for the demons.
And you guessed it. The foolish leader bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. He didn't even think twice. He trusted this complete stranger's story over his own common sense and preparation. He actually ordered his men to smash all the water pots. Every last one. He basically just marched his entire caravan straight into a death trap.
0. That's how much water they had left. And that night, everything fell apart. No water for the people, no water for the oxen. The whole caravan just collapsed, totally exhausted and helpless. And that's when the demons came out. They left nothing behind but bones and 500 carts full of goods.
Okay, so fast forward about a month and a half, now it's the wise merchant's turn. He sets off on the exact same path. And sure enough, he runs into the exact same demon, pulling the exact same trick. But his reaction, totally different. He was paying attention. He noticed little things, like the demon's eyes were bloodshot red, and, crucially, he didn't cast a shadow. So, instead of just taking this guy's word for it, the wise leader does something amazing. He halts the entire caravan, and he starts to investigate, using pure, simple logic. He turns to his own people and asks them, hey, has anyone here ever heard of a lake in this part of the desert? And of course, the answer was a big, collective no. He keeps going, building his case. He asks, okay, think about it. How far does the wind from a rainstorm travel? Miles, right? Does anyone feel even a hint of moisture in the air right now? The air was completely dry. So again, everyone's like, nope, nothing.
And for the final nail in the coffin, he asks, how far can you see a thundercloud, or lightning, or hear thunder? They all look around. Clear skies. No lightning. No thunder. The story just completely fell apart under a little bit of scrutiny. It made zero sense.
So, with just a few logical questions, he figured it all out. He turns to his people and lays it out plainly. These aren't people, they're demons. They're trying to trick us into dumping our water so they can eat us. And then he gives the order, don't waste a single drop. We're moving, and we're moving fast.
And it wasn't long before they saw the chilling proof that he was right. There it was, the remains of the first caravan. 500 carts and just bones, a really grim scene. So that night you can bet they weren't taking any chances. They circled the wagons, literally, with the people and oxen inside, and they stood guard all night. And because of that wisdom, they made it through the desert safely, sold their stuff for a huge profit, and came home. Everyone, alive and well. So after telling this incredible story, the Buddha brings it all back to his followers, the ones whose faith was shaking. He says, look, the path that foolish merchant took, that was based on guesswork, on an illusion, it was just wishful thinking. But the path the wise merchant took, now that is what he called the unerring path.
And this is the key takeaway, right here. The Apanaka Patipada. It's not just about one right choice. It's a whole method of practice, a way of approaching life that is certain, correct, and guaranteed to lead to a good result. Why? Because it's free from error. It's a path that protects you.
So this isn't just some abstract idea. The Buddha made it super practical. He broke it down into 3 key practices. Number 1, guard your senses. Basically be mindful of what you're letting in, what you see, hear, and think. Don't let harmful stuff in. Number 2, moderation in consumption. Find the right balance in everything, especially food. Eat for well-being, not just for fun. And number 3, practice diligence. Stay watchful, stay alert. Keep your mind awake and clear, just like that wise merchant in the desert.
And then the Buddha wraps it all up with a big reveal. He tells them who those merchants were in that past life. The foolish leader, the one who led everyone to their doom, that was a past life of Devadatta, the Buddha's rival. And the wise, clear-thinking leader who saved everyone, well, of course, that was the Buddha himself.
So you can see, this whole story is a powerful metaphor for our lives, right? The demon's tempting illusion, that's like all the misinformation, the bad advice, the fake news we see every single day. And the water they were carrying, that's our truth, that's our wisdom, our sound principles, our ability to think critically. If you throw that away for some tempting lie, well, we saw what happens.
So this ancient story isn't just a story, it's really a mirror asking us to look at our own lives. It makes you think, right? What are the illusions you're facing? What are the demons of misinformation or bad advice that you need to see through with that same kind of clear-eyed wisdom? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. In a world that is just packed with illusions, it's good to remember that this unerring path of wisdom is always there for us. I really hope the lessons from this incredible story help you tell what's real from what's false, and that it brings you clarity, safety, and a whole lot of peace on your journey. May you all be happy.